Today I had to make one of the toughest decisions of my professional career. Today I terminated Phil Brooks, CM Punk, for cause.
What if I told you CM Punk got fired on purpose and is joining the WWE?
What did he say?
But his grand plan must be broken down. But luckily for you, I will explain every domino that has led to this moment. In my eyes, everyone misunderstands CM Punk. After all, he is the symbol of authenticity in a scripted world. His recent firing from AEW because of a physical altercation with Jack Perry means there's an opportunity for one last run in the WWE to finally retire his career in the most epic fashion, especially since he says stuff like this.
I'm hurt and I'm old and I'm fucking tired.
However, with age comes maturity, and that allows you to put your feelings aside and let bygones be bygones. He doesn't have to work with children. So let's explore the first step of the grand plan to join WWE, beginning with the fact that people hate CM Punk on one side, but on the other, people celebrate him as a legend. Heck, this isn't even the case only with fans, but even professional wrestlers feel that way about him. This conflict started with him leaving WWE in 2014. He took a hiatus from professional wrestling, which left many fans longing for his return. After all, he did give us the Summer of Punk, the infamous pipe bomb, the peak, and his excellent feud with the likes of Jeff Hardy and John Cena. It was absolutely spectacular. Oh, but let's not talk about his UFC career. That was just a genjutsu.
He does not have athletic talent.
However, in 2019, CM Punk was hired as an analyst on WWE Backstage. Fans got a moment to rejoice about his return, but sadly, he didn't change the culture like he intended to, as the show was quickly cancelled. But this didn't stop fans from fantasy booking CM Punk's return to WWE, and Vince was quick to shrug off the idea despite being insisted by Fox. Vince states he will never sign CM Punk under contract again. But you know the saying, never say never. So it wasn't until 2021 when the wrestling world started to hear rumors that CM Punk could be returning to the wrestling world. And with the anticipation of waiting 8 years also came high expectations. And to their credit, AEW managed to surpass every single one. CM Punk returned to a thunderous crowd reaction on the August 20th episode of Rampage in 2021. Fans around the world rejoiced, but it also sparked debates on whether his return would live up to the hype, or if it would change the landscape of professional wrestling as some had hoped. His feuds with the likes of Eddie Kingston, Darby Allin, and especially MGF was suggesting that he was. It must be said, the in-ring and storytelling ability of CM Punk is impeccable, just like his ability of not being afraid to speak from his heart. Now, hear me out when I say this. CM Punk isn't afraid, and he has balls of steel to actually criticize the industry, the creative process, or fellow wrestlers. This bluntness has often rubbed some fans and colleagues the wrong way, leading to misconceptions about his attitude in my humble opinion. All of this brings me to the post-event media scrum of All Out pay-per-view last year. CM Punk took shots at the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, also known as the Elite. CM Punk was quick to mention that he was being blamed for the firing of his former long best friend, Colt Cabana. He made it clear that it was the executive vice presidents who were spreading the rumors. Of course, those being Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. CM Punk also referenced the promo Adam Page cut during their feud, in which he made comments regarding CM Punk's nature backstage and Adam defending the entire company from CM Punk.
Because we have irresponsible people who call themselves EVPs and couldn't manage a target, and they spread lies and bullshit and put into a media that I got somebody fired when I have all to do with him. What did I ever do in this world to deserve an empty-headed dumb like Hangman Adam Page to go out on national television and go into business for himself. Didn't do a goddamn thing.
What happened next resulted in utter chaos. Following his heated words from the media scrum, the Elite opted to take Punk up on his suggestion to take it up with him, and they confronted CM Punk backstage.
Oh shit.
Elite forced themselves inside his room, and depending on your source, a huge fight broke out between them. Even CM Punk's close friend and producer Ace Steel got involved and allegedly bit Kenny Omega on the arm. Punk's dog, for God's sake, also got kicked apparently. Why the dog? And all of this, by the way, happened in a 6-minute fight.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
The interesting thing is, CM Punk beat all of them. What? Maybe his UFC career wasn't a genjutsu, because he's him backstage. Haven't you noticed he has won every single real fight behind the scenes somehow?
Well, you got me. By all accounts, it doesn't make sense.
The conclusion of this altercation was that all of them were suspended, and this gave AEW nothing but bad publicity. So, just when we thought that things changed for the better when CM Punk returned a couple months later, it couldn't be further from the truth, as things took a turn for the worse. Jack Perry would be the final nail in the coffin, as he wanted to use real glass for a spot. CM Punk said no, as he was the locker room leader of Collision, and the spot would have been unsafe for Jack Perry. Jack, on the other hand, ended up doing the spot anyway at All In, and as a result, both Jack and CM Punk got into a physical fight backstage, with monitors being thrown around, tables were being flipped, and again, depending on the source, Punk even lunged towards CEO Tony Khan. It was Samoa Joe who broke things up, as his match with Punk was the opener for the All In pay-per-view.
Fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it!
However, nothing would be fixed this time round, as Jack was suspended and CM Punk was fired several days later. Tony Khan addresses the audience saying his life was in danger, but lost face in the process as the audience didn't give a shit and called him a pussy. Like, think about it. The guy's all emotional on stage, about to cry, but fans support CM Punk so much, they said that's some weak shit, bruh.
How many do I give? 0, 0, 0.
CM Punk's a legend! Now, in reality, all of this could have been avoided and prevented, but it wasn't on purpose, because ladies and gentlemen, the plan is for CM Punk to get out of his contract at AEW and to join the WWE. Think about it, to put the entire blame on CM Punk isn't the right thing to do, as he is truly misunderstood. What's resulted in all of this mess was a divided locker room and fan base. You have legends like Chris Jericho going up to CM Punk and stating that he was a cancer to the entire locker room and the company. And also, WWE star Seth Rollins said the same thing about him.
Stay away, you cancer. Get away from me forever.
But on the other hand, there are many superstars who like working with CM Punk. But then that narrative gets changed again, as more superstars would come out stating they simply can't stand him. And then vice versa, until it spirals out of control. In fact, there's no better example with Ringside News reporting that as soon as CM Punk got fired, top WWE talent were immediately against the idea of his return, whilst others who looked at it as a chance to make big money. Divided once again. But let's take a look at a few who have an issue with CM Punk. The first one obviously has to be the Elite. The trio of Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks refused to sit down with CM Punk to talk things out on several different occasions. Yes, it was because of the lawyers that were involved due to the incident, but still, all of them could have had some sort of formal meeting to make amends. The Young Bucks hate CM Punk. Now, do you want proof for this recently? Well, after he was fired, that night after Collision went off air, the so-called EVPs of AEW took a victory lap in the ring. Like, The utter disrespect. Need I say more? Jon Moxley is another surprise wrestler who doesn't like CM Punk. It is believed that both of them simply don't like each other. After the incident at All Out, several sources reported that CM Punk wasn't welcomed back by the majority of the AEW locker room.
Get the hell out! Get out!
Why would this be the case, you may ask? Is it because CM Punk sells the most merchandise? Or is it because the fans in attendance mostly pay to see him over other wrestlers? While all the above may be true, the fact remains there's a reason Tony Khan wanted CM Punk after the All Out incident. The boss knew that CM Punk move the needle.
I like money.
The money CM Punk generates isn't the only reason he is respected. In fact, the list of professional wrestlers who like him outweighs the list of those who hate him. You know, social media, the internet, negative shit spreads more and it gets more clout and attention. It's easier to spread something hateful than something positive. The obvious wrestler supporting CM Punk would be FTR, who have on several occasions cited CM Punk as an influence and a great wrestler to work with. Ricky Starks felt the absence of CM Punk after All Out. Mark Henry and Jim Ross both stated that AEW needed CM Punk to thrive in the future. Other AEW stars like Adam Cole, Saraya, I definitely butchered that name, Samoa Joe, Darby Allin, and Sting have a great relationship with CM Punk.
I would bring him back. And everybody gonna tune in and watch because he is that guy.
Bell to bell, whether it's cutting promos, he's awesome. He's amazing. He's inspired a lot of people.
AEW needs CM Punk because of his star power.
And that isn't the end of the list. Including legends, we have Bret Hart, Rey Mysterio, John Cena, Roddy Piper, and Dusty Rhodes, who all think highly of the dude. Even the best, baddest, and biggest legend of them all, Stone Cold, spoke positively about him.
Me and Phil trade messages every here and there. We rarely talk, probably once or twice a year. I love the guy, and I don't even know if I mentored him because I think Punk's probably a lot smarter than I am.
Great relationship with Phil. Punk is a great guy, despite his problems with WWE. But we have always got along, and during that time, he let me beat me.
This obviously brings wrestling fans to conclusions that many stars simply don't like it when another star prefers to have a shoot style rather than a scripted one. For example, a wrestler shooting another performer in an interview with someone outside the company has led to backstage tensions in AEW most of the time. CM Punk speaks from the heart both inside and outside the ring, and this is what doesn't sit well with them. We can even make a case that some were jealous of the fact CM Punk was getting more TV time. But why shouldn't that be the case? He was moving the ratings and generating the most money, and the evidence couldn't even be more clear as Collision's ratings absolutely collapsed without the star for whom the show was originally made. It's looking like a WCW situation at AEW all of a sudden. Chaos. Let's be serious for a moment. I need everyone to put on their conspiracy theory hats. CM Punk, all of these events and history I just explained was for CM Punk to return to the WWE. The backstage politics and issues aren't as common in WWE as it is in AEW. The grass always looks greener across the pond or across the fence, and CM Punk probably has realized that too. Wait a second, WWE wasn't that bad. These other companies are trash, they managed even worse. But on the contrary, WWE has only gotten better with Triple H at the helm. There were reports that Punk wanted to buy out his remaining contract, but the non-compete clause was the issue. So why would AEW need to even put that in the contract? It makes sense when WWE do it as they are the biggest player in wrestling. Or could it be that AEW includes this clause for their bigger stars just in case Vince and WWE come knocking? On top of that, Triple H himself then had to state this on a podcast about CM Punk at the time.
Look, I think at any point in time, if somebody in this business, it's a funny thing, like people say, would you
you take the call? I don't know that I can't think of anybody in the business that if they called me, I wouldn't take their phone call, whether in the business or whatever, right? I would answer the phone. I think we would have a conversation about it. But again, you know, CM Punk worked with us on the Fox show, a year ago? And there was opportunities there. There were people around each other at all times. You know, again, I'll never say never, but the desire needs to be there on all sides to make things happen.
Then, finally, earlier this year, while still under contract with AEW, CM Punk went to a recording of Monday Night Raw. Supposedly, it was to see fellow friends and wrestlers, but to also make amends with The Miz, who he had beef with on Twitter a few years back. What also happened at the event, Punk and Triple H met up briefly and spoke for about 10 minutes. They eventually shook hands, wink wink, and then Vince told security to escort Punk off the premises. So what we can gather from all of this, 1. CM Punk wanted to kill whatever past beef he had with Triple H, as reported by some say. And 2. Dave Meltzer reported that CM Punk wanted to come back to the WWE. According to other sources close to Punk, they also claim that he was open to quitting AEW in December 2022. And all of this got me thinking about the time on Raw. Remember when Triple H said this?
The WWE Universe spoke. They said they wanted CM Punk, and I put my personal feelings aside and gave them CM Punk. Business. It was good for business.
I reckon, hypothetically, Triple H must have said something like, "There's not much we could do about the non-compete clause you have at AEW unless you leave or get fired." And CM Punk must have responded with, "Watch me do it." So what can the most misunderstood wrestler in history do in this scenario? I believe if CM Punk does want to have the perfect ending to his wrestling career, then WWE is the right and only place left for him to go. So when it comes to CM Punk returning to WWE, it should be a matter of when, not if he returns. It's definitely going to happen. Now, to enjoy more wrestling videos, watch this on your screen right now.